If you've been diagnosed with poor egg quality, please don't despair. Instead, let's work out a plan to improve your egg quality, even if you're 40 plus. We've been really excited at all our older for fertility clients getting pregnant after being told that their only option was donor eggs. Many were diagnosed with low AMH and went on to have healthy pregnancies, healthy babies, while maintaining their own health, which is so vitally important. We found that women with low AMH can and do go on to naturally conceive, and that natural conception is the best option if you have been diagnosed with low AMH. FSH, on the other hand, is a better indicator of egg quality, and I want to discuss something you can do starting today to improve your hormonal health, which includes lowering FSH, improving endocrine health, mitochondrial health, and therefore egg health. My name is Charlene Lincoln. I'm a women's health and fertility expert and first-time mama at 42 using all natural solutions I love sharing with you. Consider subscribing for more tips on optimizing your fertility naturally, and click the bell to be notified of my next video. Okay, so I'm seeing so many couples that have blood sugar dysregulation issues, and it's making it difficult to make babies. Many are completely unaware of this being an issue. You know, for the most part, these are not sedentary people. They're not eating a bunch of junk. You know, a lot of them are pretty health conscious, not overweight necessarily. And you know, some are muscularly built. You would never think that this would be an issue. In fact, I have this challenge too, and it was something I needed to educate myself and manage in order to get pregnant in my 40s. In my case, I have hypoglycemia. Now, you might be thinking that this doesn't have anything to do with you because your doctor has never mentioned it and you've had tests done. Sadly, so many doctors only notify you when you are already pre-diabetic or have full-blown diabetes. We want to catch it before you go into that disease state. You know, 1 out of 2 Americans have blood sugar management issues. So if you are struggling with fertility, stay tuned. I'll teach you how to identify it and how to manage it to optimize your fertility and keep your eggs healthy. And for your partner to keep his sperm healthy, which is equally as important. Okay, when talking about blood sugar balance, for simplicity's sake, there are 2 possibilities. 1, you can be insulin resistant, which is characterized by 2 things: chronically elevated blood sugar levels and subsequent elevated insulin levels to help deal with the blood sugar. And then number 2 is hypoglycemia, which generally refers to low blood sugar, but it's really characterized by blood sugar fluctuations. Sometimes it's high and sometimes it's low, and both, however, have insulin surges as a common, commonality between the 2. And while each of these have their own separate issues metabolically, both will cause issues with the function of the mitochondria because there's not a steady stream of blood sugar available for ATP energy production. And mitochondria are the energy centers of the cells. And what do fertility experts say is the #1 cause of poor egg quality? Poor mitochondrial function. So this is really important. When someone is insulin resistant, glucose cannot effectively enter into the cell. Chronically elevated insulin levels create dysfunctional insulin receptor sites on the cell. Because blood sugar is not adequately entering the cells, it stays in general circulation in your bloodstream rather than being stored for energy. As a result, the body must produce higher levels of insulin to remove glucose from the bloodstream, which causes even greater metabolic dysfunction. Characteristic symptoms of insulin resistance include fatigue after meals, craving for sweets that doesn't go away when sweets are eaten, increased thirst, frequent urination. Clinically, hypoglycemia can be viewed as fluctuations in blood sugar. People with hypoglycemia can experience symptoms such as lightheadedness, irritability, shakiness, and fatigue between meals, which is often relieved after eating. And there's this popular slang term, hangry. This can be described as a combination of hungry and angry. But as you can see, a lot of times people have both patterns going on. So individuals with a hypoglycemic pattern have periods of low blood sugar, which will cause surges of insulin with surges of insulin rather than chronically elevated levels. Now, normally the body should respond to low blood sugar by producing cortisol. It's an adrenal stress hormone to increase blood sugar levels. However, in many cases, hypoglycemic people usually have low adrenal function. And I'm seeing that a lot in fertility cases and in the population as a whole. And therefore, they can't rely on adrenaline to maintain blood sugar. When you have low adrenal function, as many of us do, you can't rely on adrenal hormones to maintain the blood sugar between meals. You must rely on food as fuel. So here are some patterns. See if you recognize this in yourself. I know plenty of people who've experienced both patterns. So hypoglycemic tendencies, feel better after a meal. Sugar cravings before meals, may have difficulty staying asleep at night. I see this pattern in women all the time. Oh, I'm up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Fall asleep okay, but just wake up in the middle of the night. Difficulty staying asleep. Insulin resistant tendencies, feels tired after a meal, that crash. Sugar cravings after meals. I need to have something sweet, that chocolate, that pastry, whatever, that bowl of cereal at night. May have difficulty getting to sleep at night. The best way to determine whether you have blood sugar issues is to get blood work done. A good blood chemistry screen will contain enough markers to adequately identify patterns of blood sugar mismanagement. I really recommend going to a functional medicine doctor that can help you test for optimal blood sugar ranges. They'll test several markers versus just, fasting blood glucose or hemoglobin A1C, which doesn't really give you a complete picture. And then I want to talk to you about a do-it-yourself method. I talked about it in another video. It really is super easy. It's a quick and easy way you can purchase this. I'll give a link to where you can purchase it on Amazon. I don't know. It's between 20 to 50 bucks. And it's a glucometer. It just gives like a little, you can't even feel it, a little, prick of the finger. And then you test the drop of blood and you can test your own blood sugar and keep track of it. If you're ever curious about what you're eating is good for you, some people can eat some grains, other people it spikes the blood sugar, or it's a real reality check on a lot of these processed foods, which we'll talk about in a second. But testing your blood sugar, you do it first thing in the morning. It needs to be between 75 to 90. And then you're going to do it right before you eat and then 30 minutes after. And really your goal is, if before your meal, your blood sugar is say like 110, 120, that it pretty much stays the same after the meal. And the way it does that is, you're eating throughout the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, 2 snacks, eat a quality protein. Sorry, vegetarians, but a quality like animal protein with every meal and snack. I keep things like organic beef jerky handy, or I just learned, turkey sushi, a slice of turkey wrapped around an avocado, healthy fat, healthy protein to sustain you. Add healthy fats to every meal, like olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, ghee, couple tablespoons. Take 3,000 milligrams of cod liver oil per day. It's called a natural metformin. Metformin is a popular diabetes drug for its blood stabilizing properties, and it makes insulin more sensitive. Exercise at least 20 minutes per day. It doesn't have to be something crazy. Just get out and move your body and eliminate sugars and processed foods. Now, I have a sweet tooth, and I've been really loving monk fruit sweetener. I'll put a link to it. It doesn't have a bitter aftertaste. It's not an artificial sweetener. It's actually from the monk fruit. And I really like it. I've been baking with it, obviously not with flour, but you can use like almond flour, coconut flour. I've been using the Wheat Belly cookbook because they have a lot of dessert type recipes. And Number 5 is to do stress reduction, because stress, cortisol creates insulin surges. Gosh, stress just does a number on everything. But to implement some type of meditation, fertility, yoga, something into your day, even 10 minutes. And also, if you found this video helpful, please subscribe and download our free expertly written report on how to improve egg quality at restoreyourfertility.info. Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.